Earthling Ed just owned an absolute numpty farmer in a live TV debate. You won't believe what this farmer said. In today's Face to Facts Friday, we'll take a look at what happened. And not only that, we're going to take a look at this cardiologist who slammed Joe Rogan. We've got a story about a chef who won't cook for vegans because of privilege. I've got a controversial take on that story that's most likely going to offend someone. We'll also talk about a real-life animal rights Nazi. No, I don't mean like when meat flakes call vegans Nazis. I mean an actual Nazi. More on that later. And then finally, because I know you love the drama, I'm going to respond to some dumb comments people left on my videos from the last week. Let me know you're ready to start the video by hitting that like button right now. And let's watch this numpty farmer make an absolute fool of himself on live TV. Farmers aren't the best at debating, but the one in today's video is really special. Let's dive in and see what happened.
And Ed joins us to debate his arguments with the beef and sheep farmer Martin Kennedy, who's president of the National Farmers Union Scotland. Ed, to you first of all, you say that the animal farming industry is outdated and violent. Is that really the case?
I mean, absolutely it is. When we look at animal suffering and animal harm and indeed animal death, no other industry on the planet causes more unnecessary suffering and harm to animals than the animal farming industries. And so it is definitely a violent industry.
You can try and defend the violence in animal agriculture, but you can't claim it isn't violent. But believe it or not, that's exactly what this farmer does. This is one of the dumbest arguments I think I've ever heard.
It's such a shame that we're seeing or hearing such an ill-informed, blinkered approach to this. That's not the case at all. If we were to treat animals in the way that we're actually treating human beings in society just now, and I'm not just talking about the situation we have in Ukraine, but we treat human beings in a serious manner just now, we would be locked up if we treated animals in the way we're actually treating people in society right now.
Just when you think you've heard every dumbass meat flake argument against veganism, a farmer, and not just any farmer, president of the National Farmers Union of Scotland, thinks people are treated worse than the animals he forces his hands inside of, takes babies away from, and kills. What's he going to say next? That people living in North Korea are more free than people living in the UK? Or that women have more rights in Saudi Arabia than in the USA? Listen to what he has to say in this next clip.
We are proud of our animal health and welfare standards in Scotland and the whole of the UK. We've rightly claimed to have some of the highest animal health and welfare there is right across the world. And we look after our animals for a good reason.
It's true. He does look after animals for a good reason. Money. So many animal farmers only follow welfare guidelines because if they didn't, they'd get shut down. And there's a thing that farmers tend to say. It goes something like, happy animals make better milk, or happy animals make better meat. It's in their financial interests to maintain some kind of welfare standards for those reasons, but that's all it is.
One more word, and I will feed you to my children.
If kicking the shit out of animals on a daily basis made them more money, you better believe loads of farmers wouldn't blink before getting their boots on and getting all kicky. In this next clip, Earthling Ed absolutely smokes him.
I mean, Ed, what evidence have you got to suggest that it's outdated and violent? I mean, Martin's saying it's the UK standards are excellent.
Well, I mean, Martin says that we wouldn't do things to humans that we do to animals, but we do put animals in gas chambers. In fact, 90% of the pigs in the UK are killed in gas chambers where they're gassed to death using an aversive concoction of carbon dioxide. On top of that, of course, all the other animals we kill at a fraction of their lifespan by cutting their throats. We selectively breed animals so that they reach slaughter weight like chickens in 6 weeks and die of organ failure, and ammonia from the farms that they are kind of kept in burns their eyes and even can cause blindness. So actually, no, the way that we treat humans in society is significantly better because we don't gas humans in the UK. And of course, we don't put them into slaughterhouses at 6 months old or 18 months old in the case of beef cattle and cut their throats.
Earthling Ed just states the basic reality here, but you won't believe what this farmer says next.
This is not the case at all. And when you look at the welfare that's done through abattoirs that's carried out now, we're not the same as what happens maybe in some other parts of the world. That is not happening here.
Oh, fuck off!
The president of a national farming association claiming animals aren't gassed and that they don't have their throats slit in slaughterhouses? This is like the president of the USA claiming they don't start wars in other countries for their own financial interests. It's crazy. Oh, what? Oh, they do say that. But people believe it because politicians are highly trained liars? Oh, okay, got it. Well, this farmer should never start a career in politics because he can't lie for shit. Earthling Ed is going to call him out on this BS very soon, but first the farmer tries to change the subject because he knows he can't win the ethics argument.
And we rely on that readily source of protein, zinc, iron, vitamin B12 that is readily available through red meat. And we need that source of red meat to be there for the benefit of our health, for the benefit of the climate, for the benefit of biodiversity.
Oh, fuck off!
Oof, good old red meat. The food classed as a type 2 carcinogen, meaning it probably causes cancer. But at least it has some vitamins, right? And it's not like you can get those same vitamins from plants or supplements or anything, you know, without the cancer.
It's a joke! It's not a fucking fake news, god damn it! It's fucking a joke!
Ed's response to this is great. In this next clip, he goes into full destroy mode.
Martin was saying that things that I described happening to animals don't happen here. And I'm absolutely shocked to hear that the head of the Scottish National Farmers Union could lie so blazingly and so boldly on television, because everything I've just described, or I described in that moment, is standard practice in the UK. That figure about 90% of pigs being killed in gas chambers comes from DEFRA. So I'm not sure how Martin could deny the existence of the things that I described when they are standard legal practices outlined by the UK government and outlined by even the National Farmers Union, who he supposedly represents.
Let Martin respond to that accusation, please. Martin.
I love how Ed really didn't hold back here. And the farmer's response is absolutely pathetic. Watch this.
What I was arguing was that you were saying this is a brutal way of slaughter. That is not the case. Every possible thing is done for the benefit of the animals' welfare in a slaughterhouse, and we've got some of the best slaughterhouses in the world.
I tried to deny everything you said because it made me look bad, but now you're calling me out on it, so I'm going to pretend I was really arguing about semantics. They always lower themselves to semantics. You can't call it milk, you can't call it meat, you can't call it brutal. If you think gassing animals and slitting throats isn't brutal, I'm scared to know what you think is brutal. And it gets worse. Look at what he says next.
And that's done, and the reason they're gassed, that's done, and they were stunned for that reason, so that there is no, so that the benefit of the animal welfare is absolutely paramount, and we've been driven to do that for a long, long time now, and we're actually proud to do that.
You're proud to gas and kill animals, and you claim it's for the welfare of the animals?
Stop it. Get some help.
Who can blame animal farmers for being so desperate, though? Their industries are based on lies and deceit, and when the public finds out the truth, it puts them out of business. But these industries do still have enough money to sponsor anti-vegan numpties, like Joe Rogan. And a top cardiologist has blasted Joe Rogan for being biased. Plant-based cardiologist Dr. Joel Kahn has actually been on Rogan's podcast before. And in an interview with Plant-Based News, he made some big accusations about Joe. He is funded by meat companies on his podcast. They're his #1 sponsor. I mean, you've got to look at where the man's perspective is. And to give him credit, he eats green smoothies for breakfast, he eats vegetables with every meal, he walks a better talk than you might expect from that backlash. But it does threaten his audience, or at least his audience expects him to push back. So he's playing the role that his large platform of largely meat-heavy listeners is going to expect. And he did it great because he wants to keep that thing rolling. I'm not sure I agree. I think Joe Rogan is reasonable. And if he just had a vegan go on the show and actually explain everything properly to him. Oh, he's already had James Wilkes on the show and he absolutely destroyed a load of anti-vegan nonsense with scientific papers and evidence.
Do you dispute that the primary source of B12 for human beings has been eating animals and also fish and shellfish?
In history? And from rivers and streams and dirt? Both.
Both.
So,
wait,
Joe,
where is the evidence?
Where
is the evidence that rivers and streams and dirt has been a primary source of B12?
I'm obviously going to give it to you.
Okay.
You think I came here today? You think I made claims in the film that I couldn't back up?
What you're essentially saying is that we're dealing with B12 that was in soil and
water,
then in water, and that by the chlorination and filtration systems that we use today, that's what's ruining the water, and the water does not have the B12
we sanitize
in it
water now,
right.
which is a good thing.
Yes, but that also takes out the B12.
Sure. So
that makes your statement correct.
So he was wrong again.
Absolutely, that it's proven that cattle do receive B12.
But let's just admit that you made a mistake. Yeah.
Chris, this has not been that good for your arguments.
But how? I mean, you've got to have some like logical arguments, Chris. I'm sorry, but you're like, I have disproven your rebuttal on protein and on B12. Do you think I presented a good argument?
But if it's about amino acids and it's about protein content and digestibility, if what he's saying is correct, then there really is no need to eat meat. There really is no need to eat meat.
And to this day, Rogan acts like none of this ever happened. No, seriously, in a recent podcast, Rogan claimed he didn't know how to get iron on a vegan diet.
You serious?
It looks like Rogan plays up to the anti-vegan stereotype to please his fans and keep the sponsors happy. That's the thing with celebrities. At the end of the day, they're all just money-hungry hypocrites. There goes my shot of getting on the Joe Rogan podcast.
Not a chance.
There's only one thing worse than hypocrite celebrities, and that's woke race baiters trying to shit on veganism. Yep, we've got another.
No! God, please, no! No!
And I've got a controversial opinion on this one. This chef says people who ask for a vegan version of his dishes have food privilege. Earlier this month, I was asked if we would make our Hmong sausage into a vegan sausage. This question was innocent enough, and I believe there was no ill will or malicious intent with this question, but it did get me thinking. A lot of times we, as Hmong people, are asked by mostly white diners, can you make it less spicy, or can you take this or that out of this dish? Oh my God. This guy's family emigrated to a majority white country. He started a career as a chef, and now white customers are paying him to prepare food for them the way they like it.
I feel shocked.
We've also been bombarded with comments on reviews saying, this place doesn't have enough vegan or vegetarian options. We won't come back. And people are writing their opinions about his restaurant online like people do for every other restaurant in the world. Can this get any more oppressive? As a customer of a dining establishment, especially establishments that are run by BIPOC, ask yourself why these dishes are made in the way that it is made before you ask them to change it. Maybe they're made that way because people made them that way in that country, but you're not in that country anymore. So if you want to make money, maybe try considering doing something nice for your customers, like making their meal a bit less spicy if they don't like spicy food. This guy is so desperate to be oppressed, it's pathetic. Vang criticized the way in which some people claim to champion cultural food, but then ask for changes to be made to appease their palates because they are uncomfortable meeting you where you are when it comes to your food. They're uncomfortable with shoveling a sausage full of a dead pig's mashed up body parts into their mouths, or burning their mouths out by eating something they know will be too spicy for them. And yeah, they could just eat somewhere else. But if you want their business, stop whinging and make food that they want. Vang says he stands by his comments and said diners in the US are often unaware of their privilege when it comes to food. Why is he talking like he isn't one of the people benefiting from the massive privilege of living in a rich-ass country, trying to guilt-trip white people into eating his sausage?
What?
I won't change the way I make Hmong sausage because it's not the way my dad makes it and it wouldn't taste the same. I understand that people want what they want and that they're often unaware of the incredible privilege we have around food in this country. Then don't adapt anything, but stop trying to act like it's got anything to do with privilege. Trying to ride the identity politics BS to get some sympathy and promote your business, you little race baiter. Was I too harsh on this guy? Or do you agree with me that he's just another race baiter trying to cash in? Let me know. I know someone watching today's video is going to get offended and call me something mean in the comments. The thing is though, if you're a vegan and you haven't been called a Nazi yet, you're doing it wrong.
You serious?
Every meat flake goes for the "you're a vegan Nazi" at least once in their meat flake career. Well, I actually found a real life animal rights Nazi. Sort of. This is Alex Davies. He's the co-founder of a neo-Nazi terrorist group, National Action. In case you wanted proof that he's actually a Nazi, in the past, he's posted that he wants to create a nationalist Britain, which would be a white Britain. Oh, and here's a photo of him doing the Hitler salute, holding his neo-Nazi group flag in the execution room of a concentration camp. This guy has just been in court facing charges for starting this illegal Nazi group. And check this out. He says he's previously been a member of other political groups, including the Hunt Saboteurs Animal Rights Organization. This Nazi was out in the fields defending animals from hunters. It doesn't look like he's doing that anymore, and I'm sure the Hunt Saboteurs would have kicked his ass by now if he was, and I'll go ahead and assume this little scumbag isn't vegan either. But it makes no sense to be against treating animals badly just because they're animals, but to be pro treating humans badly just because they're not white. Next time someone calls you a Nazi, point them in the direction of what a real Nazi looks like and tell them to piss off. And the same goes for this little Nazi scumbag too. I'm about to respond to some of the dumbest comments I've had on my videos from the last week, but first, let's have a look at a few more interesting stories from this week's news. Remember that violent ex-convict who got a pig heart transplant and died from it? I mentioned him a few weeks ago. They bred a genetically modified pig, killed the pig to put that pig's heart in this man. A man who in the past stabbed another man so many times that he paralyzed that man for life. 2 months later, the world's first pig heart transplant patient has died. Guess at the end of the day, the pig got the last laugh. You know that pig was just sat around eating piles of junk food and smoking 50 cigarettes a day, sneaking out and guzzling down as many liters of highly processed oil as possible. You're gonna take my heart? Fine. But I'll make sure it's 10 times worse than the one you already have. Well, it turns out I wasn't far off. Scientists recently revealed that the man died of a pig virus that got passed on when they completed the heart transplant. I hate that that pig had to die for a criminal who didn't deserve that heart. Speaking of criminals, this next story shows some of the worst carnist hypocrisy. This guy is facing animal cruelty charges for running around hitting seagulls with a shovel. He actually hit one of them and broke their wing, and the seagull had to be euthanized, which of course is really sad. And this guy is a scumbag. But we're not here to talk about this animal abuser. We're actually here to talk about the hypocrites in the comments. I can almost guarantee that all of these people eat chickens and other animals, but look how they come out swinging for a seagull. What a sick punk. Big man, little bird, not fair competition. Break one of his wings. He is a sick punk, but if you're eating chicken wings, how are you any different from him? Pathetic lowlife. It's a shame that animal cruelty charges are minimal. Sick-minded people hurt animals for their own entertainment. Real punishment is needed. All these sickos just get a slap on the wrist while these poor animals suffer. Eating burgers is just for entertainment. So does that make you a sick-minded person too? Or are chickens, cows and pigs not animals that also suffer? Leave the birds alone or I will clobber you with a shovel. Learn to be at peace with life. There is no reason to hit these birds. And there's no reason to bolt animals in the head, gas them or slit their throats either. Learn to be at peace with life. This one sounds like a vegan in the making. One of the major signs of being a homicidal psychopath is taking pleasure in hurting animals. Very true. So you should be very concerned with people who are proud to gas animals to death, like the president of the National Farmers Association of Scotland.
And the reason they're gassed, that's done, and they were stunned for that reason, so that there is no, so that the benefit of the animal welfare is absolutely paramount, and we've been driven to do that for a long, long time now, and we're actually proud to do that.
Now it's time to respond to the dumbest comments I've seen this week in today's Meat Flakes of the Week.
It's time for Meat Flakes of the Week.
This is ridiculous. This is a terrible video. It's always hilarious how people can sit and watch an 8-minute video and not be able to tell me what exactly is ridiculous or terrible about it. You have those crazy vegan eyes. Haha, I can see that you are paid propaganda. I feel like I say this every week, but if someone knows where I can get paid for doing this, government-run things somewhere, the UN, I don't know, just point me in the direction. I'd love to get some extra cash for making these videos. I want a steak now. Watching vegan stuff just makes me want to eat more meat and praise God for it. And I'm sure your God would be really pleased with you brutally slaughtering his creations so you can have a snack. Yeah, well done. You're a true Christian. I could never go vegan. Listening to all these illogical excuses of people not to go vegan would be too much. It is tough, okay? Yeah, it's not an easy job. Why are you so salty, dude? Did your parents not love you enough? My parents loved me more than enough. I got hugs like once a year. Went vegan 2 years ago, died 1 year later. Commenting now as a vegan ghost and couldn't be Buddha. Oh my God. Not a meat flake, but a terrible joke. Why bother to talk to a vegan? Great question. Vegans suck. You know nothing, Jon Snow. I might not know much, but I know you should go vegan, Abby. Bro's vegan but still got beef. I do. It's beyond beef. You have no idea what you're talking about. You are just on adrenaline. He's right, I got this big ass needle, I just put it here, pop it in, that adrenaline before every video, and then I'm good to go. More lies from the vegans, but can't name one lie from the video. Convenient, huh? I'm vegan for 6 years, but I want to get roasted next Friday, so here it goes. Vegan food is very expensive, and carbon emissions for me to eat avocado every day. Listen, Joao, you little melon. Vegan food isn't expensive. Bananas aren't expensive, are they? And if you don't want to eat avocados because of the carbon, don't eat avocados, Joao. Give me a good rump steak any day. I grew up on a dairy farm and this video is further from the truth. Stop forcing people to become vegan. If I could force you to go vegan, you'd already be vegan, Anthony. And what exactly is further from the truth? If you knew, you would have typed it. But you don't know, you're just a triggered little meat flake. I think going fully plant-based is a Western fantasy. Go to poverty-stricken countries where sometimes it doesn't rain for the whole year and tell them to go plant-based with a straight face. I dare you. Oh, great tactic, Andrew. Yeah, go to parts of the world where it's physically impossible to go vegan and tell them to go vegan because that's the most effective way to help animals, isn't it? Meat is delicious. Another ethnocentric, extreme and judgmental perspective. I love eating dogs. Kill whoever you want and eat whoever you want. Human, animal, doesn't matter as long as your culture allows it and as long as it tastes good, right? If you liked this video, you'll love this one. Go and check it out and let me know what you think. Keep calling out that BS. I'll see you in the next one.
That's right! We can't have anyone freak out there, okay? We've got to keep our composure! We've come too far!